Hello, welcome to Blackpool for the final time in this current series of the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. It's the last programme because we've reached the end. It is the men's final, and what a final we have in prospect between two great former world champions. Just look at this for a lineup. You've got Gareth Potts, who's won the title no less than 3 times before, against Mick Hill, himself a former world champion. What a mouth-watering prospect we have. And I'm delighted to say that with me here to enjoy the action, as always, Keith Brewer. Keith, we're looking forward to this, aren't we? Because these two guys really know how to play great pool.
Well, certainly on the circuit, these days, they're regarded as the two best players, arguably. It's like the dream final, really, that everybody wants to see. Both attacking, both exciting, and both playing very well at the moment. Yes,
difficult to choose between them because they've both shown us some fantastic form, but both of them have made the odd unforced error here and there, so it's, you know, it's not clear cut.
The thing is, you know, this is such a big tournament, Dave. It's just the World Championships. They want to win it so badly. It's understandable from times there's pressures there, there's a few nerves there, that's understandable. From time to time, yes, they're only human, they're going to miss the odd shot, but they're also going to play some big ones.
They sure are. Let's now break off for a moment. We can now hear from Mick Hill, what he thinks.
Mick, another world final about to start. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel pretty good, yeah. A lot more relaxed than I was last year. And 07 for that matter, really. I feel a little bit like 04. The last time I won it, so hopefully that's a good omen. Just want to go and enjoy it and not get too down on myself if I play a couple of bad shots, and what will be will be.
How happy have you been with your game in general coming into the final?
Yeah, I'm really happy. Like I said, my preparation hasn't been that great. I did a neck injury in the gym a couple of weeks ago, so I've not really had that time to practice as such, but I feel mentally better than what I've done before, and that's obviously helped my game. So just hope I can keep doing what I'm doing in the final, playing Gareth, so I appreciate I've got to be on the top of my game to beat him. I'm sure he thinks the same, so yeah, just go ahead and see what happens.
You won this title in 2004, what would it mean to you to win it again?
Well, it's long overdue to get another one, that's how I feel. When I won that one, it was sort of, I thought the floodgates had opened, and sort of win 2 or 3, 4, you know, whatever really, that's how I felt at the time. I sort of think I've got a little bit to prove to myself that I can win it again. I'm sure if I can win it again, I'll go on and win it a few more times.
OK, Mick, thanks and good luck in the final.
Cheers, thank you.
Nice to hear from him. He sounds pretty confident, but amazingly, when you think back to 2004, it was a very different Mick Hill in those days. For a start, he was 5 stone heavier, and then...
Yeah, that's right. It's a completely different person these days.
Yeah.
For people that haven't seen him for a few years, will see a notable difference. He decided he was going to get himself fitter. We started going into the gym, and he's lost a lot of weight. And his game's come on even better than what it was before, and it was phenomenal before.
Yeah, it was. He also, of course, looks pretty good just generally at the moment. He's playing very well. Let's have a look at the profiles of these two players before we go any further. And there we are. This is Gareth Potts' current form as he's reached the final. Of course, he's had some fantastic performances, not least against Craig Waddingham. What an entertaining semi-final that was, but he was pretty good against Lee Clough and Craig Marsh as well. So Gareth, 3 times former champion in great form. And also Mick, as we've just heard, he's looked pretty good so far. Epic match against Phil Harrison, just putting out the defending champion there. He also put out Gareth Hibbert in the quarters, and as you can see, JJ Full in the last 16. So just keeping on that subject of Mick Hill, he sounds very determined. As he said, he's got something to prove to himself. That 2004 was some while ago now. He needs to show that he's still got it right now.
I can understand how he feels. He probably thinks he's too good a player not to have won this tournament again since he won it in 2004, and you know, that's understandable, to be quite honest. And I think he needs to prove that to himself. I think he wants to go out there and win it for himself.
We can talk about Gareth Potts in a moment, but first of all, we can hear from the man himself. He's waiting to talk to us now.
Gareth, another world final about to start. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. Looking forward to it. Just looking forward to getting out there and getting started, really.
Obviously, you know all about Mick Hill, but you've got to concentrate on your own game, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. You know, obviously Mick's a great player, and I'm looking forward to the match. Yeah, just concentrate on what I do, and hopefully I can lift the title again, and hopefully we can go out there and put a good show on for the crowd tonight.
Do you think you'll have to raise your game compared to how you played so far to get to the final?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think I played fantastic getting up to the final, so I think there's quite a lot left in the tank yet. So, yeah, like I say, I'm looking forward to getting out there, and hopefully we can put a really good show on tonight for which looks like a big crowd.
You're already the only person to win this 3 times. 4 would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. I just try not to think about that, though. It's just one match at a time, one frame at a time, one shot at a time. I just go out there and just try and enjoy it, really. And what will be will be.
Okay, let's hope for a good match. Good luck, Gareth.
Thanks very much.
He says he'd like to win it again. That's being greedy. I mean, Mick would love to win this for a second time. I mean, Gareth's already done it 3 times, which is a terrific record for a young man.
Yeah, and all kind of in the last 4 or 5 years as well. So, in the modern era of the game, Gareth has been the more dominant player, certainly at this event. And Mick would like to, stamp his authority back on that. But I think they both said very similar things there. They both feel good, and what will be, because I think there's a lot of respect there for both players, and that should show in the game when they play.
And the Keith Brewer prediction?
Well, I would say this is probably about the hardest match I've ever had to call, because how do you pick one out? I just feel probably slightly I would go for Mick, and only because I think he's that little hungrier, and also because Gareth hasn't really been pushed in this event yet. And when he is pushed, will he respond? But to be honest, it's a 50-50.
We are about to find out what is going to happen. Let's cross now to the commentary team, led by David Hendon.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please welcome both former world champions, Gareth Potts and Mick Hill.
2 great players, 1 great title. Who is going to be champion in 2010? Either Gareth Potts, 3 times a winner, or Mick Hill, who won the title in 2004. Promises to be a really good match, hopefully a close match, and I'm sure a high quality one. We're going to have the lag to see who breaks. Sean Baker, Lee Kendall alongside me. Looking forward to this one, Sean.
Yeah, certainly am. This is the one night of the pool calendar that even if you're not a supporter of either of the players, you look forward to all year. You get a lot of people coming just to support the event here because they want to be part of history. As one of these players will acquire another world title.
First frame, Mick Hill to break.
So Mick Hill has won the lag, and he's going to break in the first frame. It's first to 11 who becomes the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Champion 2010.
Right,
down. So
open table.
this break still hasn't started to fire yet.
Yeah, it's been a feature so far that Mick Hill's not really been able to make a ball consistently off the break, so certainly first opportunity here for Gareth Potts, this World 8-Ball final.
Yeah, and it's a pretty open table. Choice of reds or yellows. Either one looks as easy as each other, but nothing's easy in the first frame of the match. A little bit of nerves for both players.
Yeah, certainly so. You say they've played each other so many times. Like good friends off the table, but fierce rivals on it.
Yellow balls in play.
Well, he didn't need to cannon into the red on the top pocket there. Cue ball stuck to the rail. A long way away from the rest of the yellows, so not really sure what shot he left himself, if any.
It's just a question, there's a red and a yellow stuck together on the left hand side of the table. Whether that yellow does go bottom left.
Yeah, it looks like the red's slightly guarding that one, Sean, so might just be a containing safety shot here from Gareth. And the cue ball down to the bottom cushion. Trying to hide the white ball.
Well, he's gone for the pot and he's made it. Great shot there from Potts early in this first frame. This World 8-Ball Pool Championships final, sponsored by Foster's.
Yeah, I'll be pleased with that one. That's a good long pot. Open the frame up. See the 8-ball goes into the bottom right hand corner, so this is a big chance for Gareth Potts to take the opening frame.
And both players, of course, know they've got to play well. A lot of respect between them, each aware of the other's abilities. And Gareth Potts looking to make an electrifying start here, really lay down a marker early in this final.
Yeah, and when these two guys met a few years ago, it was Gareth that ran away with the match, so Mick won't want to see Gareth take the early initiative. You want to try and impose something that he didn't impose the last time they met on the television.
Yeah, we've talked about both of these players as they've progressed through the tournament. Both very good front runners. One of them takes the opening 3-4 frames. Not going to leave the other a chance.
And you see Mick leaning over in his seat. He doesn't think he can get through to the one over the pocket. So he knows he's going to have to pull out a long pot, probably into the top right-hand corner where Mick sat. A little bit careless there because there's a lot of room to leave the cue ball. And he's having a look round. He might be able to swerve around those two balls. That's a dangerous shot. I think he would prefer to take the other yellow ball on into the top right. So the first big shot of the tournament so far for Gareth Potts.
Well, true test of cueing there, and he's passed the test with flying colours.
Well, he's just checking to see if the 8-ball goes into the top left-hand pocket. So does he believe he can't draw the cue ball back in a straight line? Looks like he can from here, but maybe have to come below the 8-ball. I think he would have cleared up by now if it did go. If he could get position into the bottom right-hand corner.
30 seconds.
Yeah, certainly a feature you'd see. Gareth Potts, once the finish is there and he can see it, he runs through the balls very quickly.
I'm not sure if he tried to come a bit further away from his work or whether he tried just to flick into the 8-ball there. Either way, he's left himself a very, very difficult 8-ball. I'm not sure if it goes into the top right.
So even on the overhead, you can't be too sure.
Yeah, he's going into the top left, so this is a very tricky 8-ball.
And he's knocked it in. What a start from Gareth Potts. Brilliant. He takes the opening frame of the final and leads 1-0.
Well, he certainly left himself a couple of testers there, and he certainly came through with flying colours.
You see there the dry break from Mick Hill. And this was that long yellow. Gareth just wiped its feet. Again, that was the tough shot, and this black. Well, that's certainly laid down a marker to Mick Hill. Sure, that's the standard I'm going to play at.
Second frame, Gareth Potts to break, leading 1 frame to 0.
Gareth Potts then has taken the opening frame of this final. 11 required to be champion, and he is to break in frame 2.
Thunderous break. Just going to say there's a red going in the middle pocket, and another one got there before it.
Well, what a tremendous break that was.
I think he's perhaps just been a little bit unlucky, and it was that cluster of yellows there on the left-hand side. He's just looking now.
Yeah, he'll be happy though, Sean. He's made a ball. The yellow he's nearest to goes past the red into the top pocket. He's got yellows in that area where he can develop the 3 yellows, so not a lot of work to be done in this frame.
Yeah, certainly didn't want to come up dry on the break there, and hand control straight back to Mick Hill. After securing the opening frame against the serve, if you like, the Mick Hill break.
Yellow ball's nominated. Yellow ball's in play.
As you say, Lee, just a little bit of work to be done in this frame, but plenty of opportunity in that area.
Well, it's just one good cannon if you could bring the bottom yellow off. Oh, that's a poor shot. Didn't really judge that too well. There's a red blocking the yellow now. Feel a little bit annoyed with himself there.
Yeah, because he's also put the other yellow on the opposite side rail. think you see there on the right hand side, I mean that does go bottom right, so not too difficult.
Yeah, he just hasn't really got a ball to move the one that he's queuing by now, so he's going to take the yellow into the top right. Yeah, I was going to say it wouldn't be the end of the world if he covered the pocket.
Red ball's in play.
With that yellow staying over that pocket, might give Gareth a chance to move his other ball out before Mick gets his reds out.
So first real look at Mick Hill in this final.
Yeah, he's got to move the reds away from that yellow ball, where the one that's guarding the pocket. He knows that Gareth's got a yellow at the bottom end of the table tied up, so if he can keep these two in the open, he's got a good chance. If one of these two balls stays dead, you'd fancy Gareth to take the frame. That's a clever little shot. You can see Mick's just checking, see if Gareth can get through to it, which I don't think he can. See, there's a gap for the red to pass the yellow. Mick was hoping that the cue ball won't go between the reds, because Gareth would be trying to cover the pocket if it was.
He has got the yellow into the other top corner pocket. He can swing the cue ball out. Tough shot though, this, bridging over the red.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and it's all about that other one though, Sean. The one on the side rail which has been blocked by the red ball. So Mick has got a chance here. I'm sure you'll see him attack, taking the one over the bottom right hand corner and bringing the cue ball right up the top of the table to get close to the three reds. A settled Mick Hill would certainly be taking the finish on here. One good positional shot. It's a cue ball on the top cushion. You can screw the ball in over the pocket and develop the other red ball. And that's a key to the frame for Mick Hill.
Yeah, having to take the rest here, which is just a little bit alien to most of the pool players. One or two play some snooker, so they're quite accomplished with the rest. Actually, a little bit careful there. That cue ball came back a little bit quicker than he thought. Great effort there, though.
Yeah, he's decided to play the cue ball into the area where he doesn't need to play the split, but he can play the cannon, play the red onto the red. He was a bit nervous when he saw the cue ball tracking up towards a pocket. Be quite relieved he's in prime position. He needs to be a little bit careful now, because you can see that the red passes the yellow ball, but he's got another red that needs to go into that pocket, so if he just flicks the yellow, he needs to move it out the way. They both go in without the yellow being moved, so just need to be careful.
It looks like he might just have the right angle to miss the yellow on the way out with the cue ball. So he's putting a little bit of left hand side here.
Yeah, you can see the red passes the yellow ball, so didn't need to play the red in off the yellow. So one good positional shot from his last red ball to tie this match up, one frame all.
And it would be a great response, wouldn't it, after the way that Gareth Potts won the first frame?
Yes, it would. It would certainly settle Mick down. Yeah, he could have done with coming a bit further out, but I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Sort of shot that Mick would get 9 times out of 10.
So battle is well and truly joined here in this World Final. Terrific opening frame and an excellent second frame from Mick Hill. We're one apiece. And that'll settle Mick Hill down. Very important after Potts won the opener.
Yeah, particularly after that break from Gareth Potts. This was Mick Hill. That was the shot up into the baulk area. Excellent shot. So, last red in this 8-ball. Top left disappears for the second frame. Looking quite relaxed there, Mick. Just looking around, I think having one or two words. Supporters just to the left of him, right as we look.
Yeah, I'll be pleased to level the match up.
Third frame, Mick Hill to break. 1 frame all.
Mick Hill and Gareth Potts level at 1 frame apiece here in Blackpool. Clash of the pool titans. This is frame 3, Hill to break.
Well, all sorts happening there. Desperate and lucky that there was a ball didn't go into the top middle pocket as we were looking on the over. You see there that yellow kicked away. Ball's going out. The black nearly gets kicked into the middle pocket, and Mick sure would have liked to have seen that happen, because then he'd had to could have had another go at him.
Yeah, he's just unlucky there. I mean, he's hit him as well as you possibly could. I'm sure if he keeps breaking like that, he'll be making probably 2, 3 or 4 balls off break. So early days yet.
Red ball's in play.
A shot there from Gareth, because he's just dropped the cue ball into an area where he can. There's 2 reds that are close together there that didn't go obviously into that right hand middle pocket because of the black. So he's dropped in behind, and he can get both of those out now.
Yeah, he's got a choice of top or middle. He's going to take the middle and draw the cue ball back, and then play the one into the top.
Remember, Gareth Potts is the only player to have won this title 3 times, the only player to have retained it. Always seems to come right on the big occasion.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, Mick Hill, before he won that first world title in 2004, he had the label of the best player around never to have won the title. And I think he's got a similar tag now. He's probably one of the best players around not to have won another one, because he's certainly capable and has been capable over the years.
Yeah, I think they passed that on to Phil Harrison, then he soon got retired. So I don't know who's going to take that one now. I'll have to think of another pool player that hasn't won the world title.
Well, for the want of not upsetting him, I think the name of Adam Davis might just come to mind there, Lee. Good friend of yours, Adam. I'm sure at some point he will win a world title.
Yeah, he's certainly got age on his side. You think he's going to come to this championships probably for another 10 years, and he's certainly going to go close, if not win it in one of those. You see Gareth's made short work of these. Nice angle on the red. Been bring the cue ball down the table. Doesn't need to do anything fancy here, just leave himself a shot at the 8-ball. It's near the pocket. Just showing you if you can just clip it in, bring the white anywhere over to the opposite side rail.
Well, it's been the sort of start I think we were all hoping for. Both players clearly playing well. Gareth Potts back in front. He leads the final by 2 frames to 1. And again, it was a very swift kill.
Well, we see there Gareth Potts supporters on the left-hand side. Looking 1 or 2 faces there from Stoke-on-Trent recognise. I think his gran and grandma are there as well.
7th frame, Mick Hill to break. 3 frames all.
Gareth Potts and Mick Hill level at 3 frames all. This is frame 7, and it's Mick Hill to break.
Another good break. And again, he's made a ball off the break.
Ball's potted.
Doesn't look happy.
Well, I think the fact that he'd probably like to take yellows here. There's that one yellow. We'll just see here. Just see the replay. One yellow just gets blocked there, bottom right-hand corner pocket.
Well, I think he's fine because I think the yellow at the top of the table will go past the red over the pocket. See, there is a gap below that red ball over the pocket. So should he be able to squeeze the yellow in, underneath that he'd free the pocket up. So it's just one good shot.
Yellow ball's in play.
He has nominated the yellow, so quick check of the clock. Only has a minute to play his shot. Yeah, he's decided to play it soft because I think he wanted to see the two yellows he's nearest to now. Play the one on the top cushion, along the cushion, then flick it off that way. Just slightly overrun it with the cue ball, so you may have to cannon into the other yellow. So he's just showing you now.
Yeah, certainly very demonstrative, Mick Hill. When he's at the table at times, he keeps pointing with the cue, and you'll see him put his finger on the table and say, right, that's where I want to be. And
30 seconds.
Well, it's a delicate little shot he's got to play here. Doesn't need the two balls to stick together. He'd like to be able just to drop it in and play the yellow on the cushion without going into it, but I'm not sure if he can hold the cue ball.
Just got to be a little bit careful. Time's starting running on here.
Well, I can't agree with the shot he's played there. I think he should have played into the other yellow rather than that one.
Which is why, really, Lee, looking back, he should have looked to remove that red the first opportunity he had.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to be overcautious there. Didn't really want to take the risk of missing it first time round, but I'm sure if he had the opportunity again, he'd go the other way.
I mean, he has got another opportunity. He's got this yellow bottom left. You flick that in, with a little bit of left hand side, take the cue ball back up the table, and try and drop on that boat rail. Very difficult shot, and fraught with a little bit of danger. The cue ball ends up going towards that corner pocket. But,
or he might just have to clip it in and end up playing a double on that one, Sean.
He'd look to get in behind it. And he has, I think.
Yeah, he's just held his hand up to Gareth. I don't think he played to land there, but I think he may have played to nudge it out.
Don't see that much motion, do you, from Gareth Potts just sat in his chair. He's not going to get involved in all of that.
I think unless you see Gareth Potts get sort of 3 or 4 frames up, you won't see too much interaction with the crowd either. You know, he tends to sit there quite stony-faced, stays focused in the zone.
Yeah, when Mick plays this shot, he's got to be careful because the cue ball's going really close to the red over the pocket, so he might knock the red in here.
He had a big sigh from Mick. I think it was just an exhale, and he's had to drag himself off the table there. He was stretching that much.
Either that or he thought he was just going to miss the yellow, but what a great shot that was. He's pulled 2 big finishes out if he gets this, and, you know, that's what you expect from Mick Hill. I mean, one thing you can say for Mick Hill, his cue ball control in this match so far has been excellent.
Yeah, he's just played 1 or 2 loose shots, but as you say, then pulled them back with brilliant cue ball control.
Yes, he played a couple of good recovery shots here to keep this going. He's clearly up for this, fighting hard to win a second world title. And he's now ahead by 4 frames to 3.
Yeah, and as Mick's took a 1-frame lead, I don't think a player's made a mistake so far in this match.
see once again the story of the frame, making the ball off the break. And this was that shot where he was stretching. He just thought he'd missed it. You see there the drag on the cue ball, stopped it on a sixpence. Simple 8 ball, left hand corner pocket.
Well, Gareth Potts has done nothing wrong really, and he's just lost the last 3 frames. He's trailing 4-3. This is frame 8.
Cue ball perilously close to that. Oh, it's nearly gone again. It had a couple of goes at going in, stayed up, and the red come round, flicked it, and it stayed up again.
But what he has done is turn the table over. I mean, both players are breaking really well. He's just down to having a little bit of luck. See, there's a cluster of yellow balls at the top left-hand corner. So you can't see him attacking on the yellows. There's another yellow which is tied up by a red near a pocket, so
30 seconds.
you'd expect him to go reds here.
This match so far completely different to the other World Finals that Mick Hill has played in. He's the first one, he defeated Darren Appleton in 2004 to win the title. He raced away into a 5-0 lead. I think it was 7-2. Oh, missed there from Mick Hill.
Well, it's the first mistake of the match, and a careless one. You'd expect him to make that shot.
I say with those previous finals, completely different. Gareth Potts, he lost quite heavily in 2007. And last year, the dogfight with Phil Harrison.
Well, he's absolutely livid, isn't he, Mick Hill, in his chair, because he had the momentum there, 3 frames in a row, wanted to keep it going, had a good chance to, and then, for whatever reason, missed that one to let Gareth Potts in. I don't think there's going to be much between them, though, at the end of this match. It looks like it could be one that will go all the way.
Yeah, certainly got all the makings of a final frame decider. To go that far, it would be Mick Hill to break.
Yeah, Mick will be thinking these reds should have been mine. A chance to open up a 2-frame lead. Instead, Gareth's going to tie the match up at 4 frames all.
Yeah, the one thing about Gareth Potts, as you say, Mick Hill's just taking them last 3 frames on the spin. He wouldn't get too disheartened because he knows he's not done too much wrong. And he knows he can't do too much about it either, so he'll just wait for his opportunity. And he gets them, look to take them.
Problem is, in a match of this quality, one mistake really is one too many. That's all it took, just that one slip up from Mick Hill, a bit of carelessness, they crept in, Gareth Potts has punished him, we're level again, it's 4-4.
You see once again, story of the frame, that cue ball. So had a couple of goes at falling into that middle pocket. This was the miss from Mick Hill. This was the clearance from Gareth Potts. Red ball to leave a simple 8 ball, right hand middle. As you said, level the match up at 4 frames all, Dave.
And welcome back to Blackpool, where we really have saved the best to last, because the standard in this men's final has been truly unbelievable. Really high quality. Keith, it's everything we hope for.
It is indeed, yes. Both players playing to an extremely high standard. There's a lot of respect out there between the two players, and I think that's evident in the way that they're attacking the game at every opportunity.
It's been sort of like this all the way through. It's really hard to put anything between them. There's scarcely an error in sight.
That's right, yeah. I think there's probably been one ball missed by each player, something like that, but umpteen clearances. If it carries on like this, of course, where will it end? It's going to go very close to the wire.
The distance, yes, and at the moment it's just impossible to pick a winner.
Oh, well, I've been asked, by a few people today, who do you think's going to win? And I've said the same to everyone. It's just such a hard match to pick.
Yeah.
And I said to you that when you asked me before, and I said Mick maybe just because I thought he was a bit hungrier.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Gareth looks just as hungry. He's got 3 titles, and he obviously wants that 4th one.
But it's probably going to go down as one of the great finals, this, isn't it?
Well, so far from what I've seen as the first half of the match, yeah, I would say probably it is one of the greatest finals I've ever seen.
Thank you very much indeed, Keith. Let's go back to the action once again. Here's commentary with David Hendon.
Yep. 10th frame, Gareth Potts to break, leading 5 frames to 4. Time running.
Gareth Potts back in front then, leading Mick Hill 5-4 in this race to 11 for the world title.
Ball spotted.
Once again, balls made. The colours are spread far and wide.
Yeah, and you've got to fancy him to take the yellow balls on here.
Yellow ball's nominated.
And that's exactly what he's done.
Yeah, and that's purely because of that. There's one red on the left-hand side of the table there below the middle pocket. It doesn't pot.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, you'll see Gareth attacking from here. Yellow down the cushion.
Just plays that shot with such ease though, Lee. You know, I mean, that's a long way down the rail he's played that, and it's absolutely straight into the heart of the pocket.
Yeah, you'd expect him to make it though. The hours of practice the guy put in. Sizing up a plant. Should he get this shot right, you'd expect him to take the frame from it.
I was going to say, it's very difficult. Well, he's left it over the pocket, still in control in this frame. Very difficult because of the red being there as well. Don't think he's got the full pocket to aim at there.
Yeah, but he's got second prize, he's covered the pocket. He's got Mick in all sorts of trouble. Probably needs to double a red down the other side of the table and try and get the opposite pockets that Gareth's got.
"30 seconds.
But he knows he's running out of time, and I don't think he's thought of what shot to play, but I'm sure he'll be doubling the red up and down and try and get it near to this pocket where he's queuing up. That's what he's played. I don't think it's hard enough though.
I think Gareth can get this through to the top left corner pocket here. Gets down there. Just
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can, Sean. I think he's just asking if it's touching the cushion so he can just bump it down a little bit. I think he can only hit it half ball.
Well, it looks like he scraped the paint off that red as it went past.
Yeah, he didn't mean to pot that one. He a little mutter to himself. I think he might have thought the table just curled in on him. I'm not sure if he's left himself a shot, but one thing he certainly has done, he's opened the frame up for Mick Hill. I think
well, he's got one shot. He's got the yellow into the right-hand middle, and the trouble is the cue ball's running away from the other two yellows. That's the problem here.
Well, it's going towards the 8 and the pocket, so He'll be concerned about the white travelling over that side of the table. Might have to jack up. That's what he's doing. Doesn't want to give her 2 shots away. Yeah, he doesn't like it. Yeah, that's why he played the double. It's a tricky shot onto the other middle pocket, Sean, because the cue ball was going closer in the and off.
Yeah, but with that yellow there, always made the double extremely difficult as well. And so, chance Mick Hill here to level the match up in frame 10.
Yeah, he definitely will be attacking here. You won't see him covering the pocket. He's got a good opportunity.
He's only won it once, remember, Mick Hill, 2004. I know a lot of people think it's about time he won it again. I'm sure he does. But it's such a difficult title to take in the first place.
Yeah, not only him, I'm sure his bank manager does as well. Be lucky to take the £10,000 back home.
You see there still the emotions on Mick Hill's face, a little grimace.
Yeah, he's just a little bit straighter than he would have liked, and he knows he's going to have to punch it in. Makes a pot a bit missable, but you'd expect him to get it, even with power. He's dancing to try and get the cue ball down the table. I'm not sure if that's any good to him.
I think all he's done is left the plant here.
Yeah, he'll be annoyed with himself there. Very annoyed with himself. He shouldn't have been in this position after Gareth made a mistake.
Yeah, it was all about not the previous shot, it was the one before that where he's finished straight on that last red.
He's playing the red onto the red, and he can only really land on the one he's playing. Played it very well. He'll be happy if that red slides past the 2 yellows into the left centre. Not sure if it does. He's perfectly on it now. Won't be playing it that shot because he can't really get position. Unless that red on the side rail slides down past the one over the pocket. I'm sure he's got to take the one over the pocket next.
Yeah, I think what he might look to do potentially is leave a long pot on the red. Bottom right as we look on the overhead. He could just stun across and, as you say, leave the red that's up the side rail into that pocket last.
Well, or he could take the reds into the same pocket, Sean, as well. Yeah, he's guaranteed himself a shot on either of the 2 balls. A clever shot, that one. He doesn't look happy, but he's fine. I'm sure he can just stun it in and chop the ball down the rail. I just think he wants it a little bit easier than most at the moment. I'm sure he can just punch over. There you go, he's fine. I think he could actually hit that harder, David, as well. He didn't need to stay with such an angle.
Well, he likes a little junter and a little shake of the head, but he also then gets down and knocks them in very nicely. It's been a great start to this final, and at the moment these 2 great players really can't be split. Well, having taking no chances, having the cue ball cleaned.
Yeah, and Mick being the slimline version will get to the shot a lot easier.
Well, unusual having both balls cleaned here, not taking any chances. Doesn't want any little bit of bad luck to affect his game.
Well, it's the world final. I suppose you can see his point. Yeah, they can't be split at the moment, these 2. It's Gareth Potts 5, Mick Hill 5.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The 11th frame, Mick Hill to break, 5 frames all.
Well, the final has certainly lived up to its billing so far, and I'm sure these 2 won't disappoint for the rest of the match. Gareth Potts 5, Mick Hill 5, race to 11. This is frame 11, and it's Mick Hill to break.
Yes.
Power there from Mick Hill. 2 yellows disappearing into the same
Ball's potted.
top middle pocket. As we see once again, see the cue ball jumped quite away as well.
Yeah, and this match may be decided on the break shot. Both players are at the top of the form.
You're just seeing a little bit of exasperation from Mick Hill because the yellows that probably like to take. He's got a couple in awkward spots.
30 seconds.
And then the reds, there's one certainly at the bottom end of the table that's will only go bottom left. So
Yeah, he probably feels a little bit upset because he split the ball so well that he would like to an easy finish, but that's not what he's got.
yeah, I mean, incredible. If you look at the sort of the middle area of the table, there's just nothing there at all.
Yeah, I think he'll go the reds, and yeah, he has nominated reds. He he needs to be quick though. 57.3,
Yeah.
just in time.
We've had 1 or 2 close calls in this match so far. Okay. Gareth Potts got into the late 50s as well, mid 50s on the clock. Just looking at the cannon into that yellow, just to disturb that one red out of the way.
Yeah, what he does know is when he cannons into the yellow, he's
30
automatically going to be
seconds.
on a red, the one that's at the top of the table. So he just needs to be careful when he flicks this one out. I'm surprised he played it that way. I thought he might have bumped it over the middle pocket.
Yeah, sort of almost full ball into the yellow, but
He's okay though. I mean, what he has done is left himself a shot into the middle pocket.
bottom middle as we look at it on the overhead. Quite close to the cue ball.
Just take your seats quickly, please.
Just a few latecomers.
Yeah, and I think referee Melvin Howard just called a timeout there, so Nick's not disturbed during the visit.
Just taking their seats.
Yeah, I think this is where the clock should be reset from 0 because it's not the player's fault.
Time running.
$30 seconds.
Great shot there from Mick Hill. Very easy just to have drawn that back and hit the yellows on the way back and block this red, but good shot. Still got a little bit of work to do though, Lahiri.
Yeah, he sort of shrugged his shoulders, but I'm sure he's okay. You can see he can get his cue ball out, he can bring the cue ball back or run on and off the cushion, whichever he feels comfortable with. He isn't hampered by the yellows. He doesn't have to bridge over them, he can cue down the side of them.
30 seconds.
No, it's not the easiest of finishes, but it's one you'd expect Mick to take out. That looks pretty good. He's absolutely perfect, to be honest. He couldn't have played that much better. Just keep bringing the cue ball back to the centre of the table. Give himself an angle. He's just having a quick check to see if he can play that red inside the yellow. Bottom left as we see it now. I think he'd like to be straight on it though if he was thinking of doing that. He wouldn't want to play it from a distance.
30 seconds.
So if that is his plan, he'll want to get virtually straight on his next red. Yeah, he's decided again, so I think this is a sensible option. Take both reds into the same pocket. Makes the first red missable. He's probably going to play it with a little bit aside. But he knows his guaranteed position.
Yeah, again, once again, points for the cue. Just exactly where he wants to be leaving this cue ball after this shot.
Yeah, and this is like the 8 ball really, because he's going to be taking a little bit of a risk. He's playing it with left-hand side.
30 seconds.
Again, just keeping an eye on that shot clock. As we our timekeeper Richard Rhodes this evening, call that 30 seconds.
Side rail on the way down, but it's made it in the pocket.
And that's almost exactly where he was pointing, just a a few seconds ago with his cue.
Yeah, he's a little bit straight on the red, but he'll just have to run the cue ball through and take the black into the right hand centre. His cueing's fine, his cue ball's just off the cushion. Even though he's pulled back up, I'm sure he'll be fine.
30 seconds.
Once again, just perhaps waited for that 30-second call.
Excellent shot. Brought the cue ball off the back cushion. A chance to take the lead again in this match.
Looks like the pendulum has swung once again. This time the way of Mick Hill, who's now ahead in this engrossing World Championship final by 6 frames to 5.
Yeah, normal service resumed in this final after the tactical battle we saw in frame 10. See once again, see that cue ball bounced off the table. You have to watch that a little bit. Just make sure that cue ball doesn't finish on the floor. As you say, in effect, that was frame ball, Lee.
Yeah, and a good positional shot for the 8 ball into the right hand centre. Very good finish.
Frame, Gareth Potts to break, trailing 6
Gareth
frames
Potts
to 5.
finds himself
5
behind
minutes.
6-5. This is frame 12.
Ball's potted.
Well, a solid break there from Gareth Potts.
Just that cue ball finished in the balk area. Just thinking.
Well, I think he's going to be taking the red, Sean, because I think the yellow may be blocked slightly by the red. And they're both well split, but I think the reds are slightly easier.
Yeah, I wonder if he took the option of yellows, he could draw back off this one and just flick that red
30 seconds.
out of the way and leave himself on that yellow.
He's just working his route out.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he's gone with you, Sean. He's gone with the yellows. That yellow must pass by the way he's played the finish. So the one where the pocket is standing by, that yellow passes. Still slightly surprised he went yellows. I think I would have still chose reds, but it's personal choice.
In fairness, I was only thinking of the yellows because I thought he couldn't pot that yellow, so that was the one that gave him a chance, that yellow in the balk area. As you say, you had a look at that yellow obviously goes, so
30 seconds.
obviously the key part of this frame will get in position on the black. Because as he's come down to this end of the table, almost certainly that will be his last ball.
Yeah, the one over the pocket he'll want to leave till the last. Skewing the cue ball off the side cushion, back into the top area of the table. Needs the cue ball to bounce. He's trying to bounce it himself.
You see that little hop as he walked round.
Never does work, that, does it?
Doesn't stop you doing it though, David.
It used to work in my local because there was actually an old coal cellar under the pool table, and you could just drop your knee as you walk round the corner pocket. I've seen one or two drop a ball in doing that.
I suppose that's where the weight advantage comes to your help there, Sean.
A lot slimmer in them days, Lee, but
Oh dear, what's he doing?
well, you say, oh, what's he done? He's still got the yellow into the middle pocket here.
Well, he's left himself a tester though. He knows he shouldn't have been having to cue a ball in. You'd expect him to make it, but it's certainly missable. Don't know if he was trying to put that yellow back on the table. I don't think that's allowed. Oh, it's horrible this is, because he's having to cue just over the
30 seconds.
the jaw of the pocket. You can see his cue going up and down.
rather adventurous route in the end, but it looks like he's got there all the same. They're going to take some splitting, these two. Holds his hand up there, he got a little bit lucky, but the level again, it's 6-all.
Really, the way this match is going, it's just impossible at this point in time to predict a winner. He started trading frames now, and obviously that continues. Mick Hill would run out as the winner, but
yeah, what they are doing, they're sort of racing each other to the line, and I'm sure the closer they get, the more nervous he'll get. So we'll probably see a few more mistakes later on in the match, just with pure nerves.
Frame 13, Mick Hill to break.
Mick Hill to break then in frame 13, the world final, nicely poised, level, 6 frames all.
Well, he's nothing down, but I think he's had a little bit of luck where he's waving his arms about. But I don't think he's left anything easy for Gareth. The cue ball looks like it's locked up against the yellow ball. And judging by Gareth's face, he isn't 2 HP.
just looking there if he can take the red and flick the yellow in. As he does, all the yellows are in the open.
Yeah, it certainly looks makeable from this angle.
30 seconds.
No, he's missed it.
Oh, missed the yellow. Incredible, really. As I say, all the yellows in the open.
Yeah, I mean, from our camera angle, that looked an easy shot, but I can tell you it was far from easy.
Oh. First little sign of emotion there from Gareth Potts, a little shake of the head.
Well, he knows what he's done by playing that red off the yellow, just opened the frame up, and as we've seen before, Mick doesn't make too many mistakes.
Having a mutter to somebody.
Well, so I think somebody said something behind him maybe about the finish. And he said, well, it's not like that out here.
It's an easy game from not just the commentary box, but the audience as well, I guess.
Well, he's played a good shot there. He's been quite fortunate.
Again, once we've heard a mobile phone go off in the arena there. I think timeout's just been called by a referee, Melvin Harley, just until it's fully switched off. We heard this, we've seen this before. If somebody's told to switch it off because it's rung, and then you hear it making all sorts of beeping noises, it's switched off as well. So I think the referee's quite right, just call the timeout till everything's sorted.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it's all about just keeping the cue ball in the right areas of the table here. There's no obstacles in the way. All the balls are in the open. A little bit of limbo dancing from Mick. He said he had a bad neck. He doesn't want to give himself a bad back.
Yeah, incredible really to look at Mick Hill now. He's almost unrecognisable from when he won that title in 2004. Remember that waistcoat he had with a certain sponsor on it, and he wore it for years and years because that was the one that fitted him, and I think he'd probably wrap it round him twice now.
Yeah, and all credit to him, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do, and he's made a poor shot there. It actually wasn't his waistcoat, Sean, it was Carl Boyce's waistcoat, so I think he's had it back now.
Mind you, Carl Boyce has followed the trend, and he's certainly a little former shadow of himself as well. Saw him quite recently.
Well, it's not a physical game, is it? But you do still need stamina, particularly for these long events.
30 seconds.
With these long matches and high pressure.
Yeah, you feel he's sort of forced as a... Well, he's taking the one over the pocket, but he's not guaranteed to get the cue ball out in the open. Well, he has made hard work of an easy finish, and he hasn't got them yet.
Big cue in there from Mick Hill.
They're always messable when you're dropping pocket weight. You need to keep your arm straight.
And with the ball being so close to the pocket and the rail, he sort of barely got his fingertips on the side of the table.
Yeah, nice position shot again, running the cue ball through. Looks like he's going to take the lead again.
It's nicely done. It's advantage. Mick Hill once again. He leads 7 frames to 6.
And you see there a little puff of the cheeks and say to his fans, made a little bit hard work of that. You see this was the dry break. Gareth Potts missed that opportunity. That was that tough yellow in the middle he's taken. Nicely run through. 8 ball, side pocket. Gareth looking fairly relaxed there in his chair though. He only really had about half a chance in that frame on that opening shot. Very tough shot, as you said, Lee.
14th frame, Gareth Potts to break, trailing 7 frames to 6.
So it's Potts who's behind now as he breaks off, trailing 7-6.
Gareth there, he didn't get kissing off, he screwed straight off, and he's just seen what damage he's done.
Time running.
See once again, see that cue ball straight into that top middle pocket as we look on the overhead. Surveys the damages and sits down.
Yeah, and I'd imagine Mick never looks happy, but he's got ball in hand. 1 visit.
Yeah, I think just the one problem he got, I think, Lee, I think there's a red and a yellow near to the baulk line on the. You see there at the top of the shot, those 2 balls together. So,
but what he has got, he's got a red up there as well. He can pop that one and make a cannon, and hopefully it'll come out good.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. He is hoping that he would be on a ball. There's nothing certain. Oh, but I think you're still right. That's probably the way he's going. But he's opting different route here.
Yellow ball's in play.
I'm surprised at him taking that shot. This is where we learn something.
It just looks now if he's has he got the angle here to take the one in the middle and run off the top rail and come in behind that red and yellow and split them up.
I don't think he has, Sean. I think he's a bit too thin on it. I know if he took the red at the top and played the cannon, he wasn't guaranteed to be on something, but at least the balls are in the open, and with a little bit of lady luck, he's still got to play a cannon either way. Well, he thinks he can, he's putting plenty of side on it. I just think it's a poor shot selection, really. I think he should have gone reds.
One thing's for sure, we'll know he's not happy. Shake of the head, look at someone in the audience. He'll still be shaking his head.
Yeah, I don't think he'd make a good poker player.
Think about this now. That red, as you say, that's in that same area, top right. If Gareth could use that to break out that red and the yellow, he's got, he's got a red that he's close to. That he probably left him on, but he's opted to move that now because he wanted a better angle on this red.
Well, I just think this is the way Mick should have been attacking with ball in hand. You know, there's a great chance that the red's going to come into the middle of the table. He'll be playing into the cushion first and flick it out, just like that. And has he been
There's the
unlucky?
cue ball. Oh, desperately unlucky there. Gareth Potts.
Well, that's. I don't think he played the cannon particularly well, but he certainly didn't deserve to go off. I mean,
No,
he
you
struck
see
it
that?
poorly.
Yeah, so on the replay, he's only just flicked the red on the way past. He almost wanted to go, sort of get in behind it full ball, and knock it out.
McGill was right out of his chair there as well, ready to get back to the table.
So. Yeah. You saw in an earlier match where Mick played Phil. He made a couple of mistakes from situations like this, and you feel that tonight he isn't going to be the guy that's going to make those sort of mistakes.
No, great opportunity here to open up a 2-frame lead. Mick Hill, he trailed by 2 frames early on in the match, 3-1 to Gareth Potts. Got back into it, it's been pretty much neck and neck ever since. Probably a great time here now, say for Mick to open 2-frame lead. It's a race to 11, and this would just put him 3 frames away from the title.
Yeah, importantly, it opens a little bit of a gap between the two players. They've been locked together. Mick's only ever had a 1-frame lead. It's a clever shot. There's a cue ball to travel. Pretty good.
A very knowledgeable crowd out there. They know how good a shot that was from Mick Hill. Plenty of applause. It wasn't just the Hill supporters showing their appreciation there.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen a final where both players have turned up their A game. And when it is like this and the two players are so evenly matched, you just can't really call a winner.
Now it's going to come down to the odd shot here and there, a bit of luck here and there.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to make any heroic shots here. I think he's just drop it in. He's got 2 shots remaining. Looks like he's flicking off the cushion, so...
Yeah, he still wasn't happy once he'd finished there.
That's a clever shot there, because what he did by using the rail, he brought the cue ball out. So he was obviously confident that he could to play that shot.
Gareth Potts went in off. Mick Hill is dished up, and for the first time in the final, he's 2 frames ahead. He leads by 8 frames to 6. 3 more then, and he's the winner.
Sounds easy, that does, David.
As we see there, that was the in-off at the start of the frame from Gareth Potts. This was the very poor shot from Mick Hill. And this is the shot where Gareth didn't get into that red at all, just flicked it. Cue ball finds its way in the middle pocket. And this was the 8 that secured frame 14 on a 2-frame lead for Mick Hill.
Big frame coming up now, because if he wins it, there will be a bit of distance between them.
15th frame, Mick Hill to break, leading 8 frames to 6.
Mick Hill then breaking in frame 15, leading by 2 for the first time at 8-6.
A little bit unlucky there, I think, Mick Hill, because had a couple of balls there threaten the pockets.
Open table.
Stayed out, you see the arms go in the air. Blow out there, the cheeks. And, you just can't believe it. He's sort of saying, well, how can you not get a ball when I've hit him like that?
Yeah, what he has done, he's left an open table for Gareth.
Red balls in play.
Gone on to the red balls. He's got a little area at the bottom left-hand corner he needs to develop. All the other balls are in the open.
Just wonder if he's going to do it on this shot here. He takes the bottom one of these 2 reds and just looks to nudge that yellow out the way. Nice shot there from Potts.
Yeah, he couldn't have played that any better because he's moved the yellow right out of the way onto the bottom cushion. Big opportunity to close a gap to 1 again.
Yeah, and the good thing about this shot now is taking this red. He's left-handed, so it makes the shot a lot easier, even on that side of the table.
Yeah, he's forced to take the one that he's nearest to, because that'll clear the path for the other one on the side cushion. The 8 ball doesn't go into the bottom right hand corner, so he, again like he did in one of the earlier frames, might leave himself an angle and take his last red and the black into the bottom left hand corner. It's a few shots away yet. He's also got the option to leave the ball in the top area and the bulk end till last, just whichever way he feels comfortable. Looks like he's taking the one down the rail first, checking his angle. Probably just leave himself distance on the 8 ball. Yeah, the red is slightly guarded by the yellow, but he can get through to it. See, the red goes quite easily. Just the cue ball may be colliding into the yellow, depends on his angle. Well, he's overscrewed that one. It doesn't go into the bottom right, and that's the mistake, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and the problem is if he takes a very thin clip on it to bottom left, you have no control on the cue ball.
Yeah, he just makes the pot so much harder from where the cue ball's landed. I don't think he's going to plant the yellows in, but there's no guarantee he's going to get the 8 ball. You can see by his face that, you know, he knows this is a big frame.
I think he knows he can't afford to go 9-6 down here.
I think he's got to play it plain ball. I think if he plays with any screw on it, he could easily plant the 2 yellows in. It's a great shot.
Oh, what a pot that is. And there's the fist pump from Gareth Potts. Massive shot. He was 2 frames behind, but he's pulled one back. He now trails by 8 frames to 7.
Had a big break from Mick, but nothing went down. He said Sean a clever shot to move the yellow out of the way. Good pop down the cushion.
This is the one shot that caused him the problem here, Lee, in this frame, as you say. Overscrewed it by quite a way there. But this fantastic black.
Straight in the middle of the pocket as well. Well, they're certainly providing great entertainment, these two. And just when it looked like Mick Hill might be starting to get away, Gareth Potts pulled out what turned out to be, in the end, a great clearance, a terrific final ball.
16th frame, Gareth Potts to break.
So 15 frames played, just 1 frame between them. Gareth Potts breaking off here, trailing Mick Hill by 8 frames to 7.
Oh, there's balls flying in everywhere here. The trouble is, I don't think we see the break-off shot once again. Probably going to want to take yellows here, but he hasn't really gotten a really easy opening ball.
Yeah, and he's got to test the first shot, Sean. You can see the cue ball's glued to the side cushion.
Well, this is what shots like this champions are made of.
30 seconds.
Straight in the heart of the pocket there from Gareth Potts.
And the lick of the lips says he enjoyed it.
Just a terrific match, this, one of the all-time great finals, and could well still go the distance because frames are beginning to run out.
Yeah, he's just a little bit unsure on this. I think the yellow below the 8 ball does pass into the bottom left-hand corner, but his cue ball is just running away. I don't think he needs to run into him. Just stun the cue ball between the balls. He's decided to go around the back. He's okay.
Just about, I think, there.
Just check and see if it goes in the centre pocket as well. If it does go in the centre, it'll make the finish a lot easier. You can see that's what he's played for. So the yellow into the right centre, draw the cue ball back. All his work's done.
He made short work of all this, didn't he? Great break it was. Just what he needed. They both raised their game tonight. The final is too close to call. Gareth Potts 8, Mick Hill 8. And it's an absolute classic.
Well, superb clearance there from Gareth Potts. All the pressure on. You see here, story of this frame. A lot more control on the cue ball from Gareth to say, but there was balls flying in everywhere. Red and 2 yellows. So he took the real tough yellow on, straight into the heart of the pocket first up. Yellow into the middle. Simple 8 ball, the other middle pocket. So the world final has now been reduced to a best of 5 for the title.
And you can just feel the tension in the arena, the crowd all eagerly awaiting the next frame. Both players raring to get on with it as well. They seem to be the 2 coolest people in the room, in fact.
17th frame.
We're level again in the World Championship final. 8 apiece, Mick Hill to break in frame 17. First to 11 is champion.
Terrific break, but just look at all the balls have finished in one half of the table.
You see from Mick Hill. Again, he's not pleased with the break. A little chunt to himself. And he hasn't had the best luck on his breaks, let's be honest about it. He's made balls, but they keep coming out tricky for him.
Like I say, because whichever suit he takes here, they're all in one half of the table. And it just makes navigating round the finish so difficult.
30 seconds.
Probably look to take reds here.
Yeah, he's got no real choice. I mean, you can go yellows because they do slide past each other, Sean, either side.
Well, he has taken yellows, I think. Called yellow balls in play, the referee Melvin Harley.
Yeah, because you can play the yellow on the left-hand side in off the red. Free that area up. That's what he's done. He's just the red ball to stop.
I'll tell you what, I just wonder if he's got half a chance of the finish here. I think you see on the overhead there, he's got a yellow that will plant onto that red and yellow, the bottom left corner pocket.
Yeah, it's just a question whether the yellow next to that yellow that you're on about, Sean, will pass into the top left as we see now.
30 seconds.
There's a little bit of distance we can see on that shot, Lee. So I think that the yellow will go into this, well, the far left pocket as we look now.
Yeah, it's a clever shot because he's just bumped the red out by playing it thick. He's moved the red from the pocket. And it's 8 frames all, and what a big finish this would be. I mean, you can see Mick puffing his cheeks. It is tight, this one.
He's not exactly taking a close look. He stood just about as far away as he can get from the table there, right on the arena board.
Well, he's just checking to see if the audience have got a better view than him.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it's not nice because he's bridging over the red ball. Obviously the yellow is very tight. Awkward queuing. Slid the yellow past the red into probably half a pocket.
All he's got to do now is he takes this yellow bottom right. Just take the cue ball up the table for the yellow left hand middle. He's got the yellow below the black to move back in this right-hand corner pocket.
You make it sound easy, Sean. This is a tricky finish. I mean, the yellow below the 8 ball, it does go into the bottom right, but he needs a positional shot to allow him to play that shot.
30 seconds.
So this is a key shot coming up now. That's probably why he's taking a little bit more time on it.
Yeah, as you say, not much margin for error on this shot. Finishes too low on the yellow, he'll be running into the 8 ball. Finishes too high, and he's running away from his work.
See Gareth having a look, see what he's going to leave himself. That looks pretty good.
Just run through here.
I mean, his cue ball control in this match has been excellent, so you'd expect him to navigate the gap between the red and the black now.
I mean, ideally he wants the cue ball just to run below that red, and it has done.
Yeah, he's just slid past it again, a little grimace. I think he's still okay, he's just not as easy as he would have liked. I'm sure he can take both balls into the same pocket. Going to jack up a little bit. Keeper was in the way, so forcing it into the opposite pocket, but nice job. And an excellent finish from Mick Hill.
Well, the final's been punch and counter punch between these two. Can Mick Hill land a knockout blow here? Yes, he can. He's back in front, and the quality continues. Mick Hill leads Gareth Potts by 9 frames to 8.
We see here the replay of that frame. Big power break from Mick. Yellow disappears top middle pocket. He just picked his way, as you say. Lee played a nice, clever little shot there.
That's right, and he did grimace, but he was fine. He could just stun the yellow in and take the black into the opposite pocket. Excellent finish.
Gareth Potts trails 9-8. If he loses this one, he'll be a frame from defeat.
Well, he's not really got into them. They didn't seem to break well. And that's gone out of the way. I mean, when you come to the back end of a match, you never want your opponent to get on the hill, as you say, 1 frame away from victory, and this is Mick Hill's chance to get to that position.
Yeah. Fair, apart from I think there's a red just above the black. There's a red and a yellow together, but apart from that, all the reds are in the open.
Well, we take these finishes for granted off these two fantastic players, but you know, they're making these finishes look easy. You're at the business end now of this match.
Yeah, I think we've just seen there Mick. He takes this first red into the right-hand middle, leave himself an angle on the red just below that, and he can just run into that red and develop it away, and almost certainly to be on the red that's closest to that right-hand middle pocket.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, he's elected to take that one to maintain an angle, and now he just needs a little bit of luck. Just showing you where he wants to attack that area there. Cue ball's going into that, and he knows he's going to be a one on the right centre, and he just needs the yellows to port.
Yeah, I think he's just got to be a little bit careful actually where this red goes. Doesn't want to hit this too hard.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be hitting it hard, Sean. He's just relying on a little bit of luck. Yeah, I don't think he's had it. But they all still go. There are pockets available.
Yeah, I think that now goes top left as we look on the overhead.
Yeah, I mean, ideally if you can take the 2 reds into this bottom left-hand corner, as we see now, bring the cue ball up into the middle of the table, and then there's a great chance for Mick to take a 2-frame lead and be 1 frame away from the world title.
And you've got to think Gareth Potts would have played a lot worse than this and been ahead in matches, just that it's been such high quality. A couple of mistakes here and there. Didn't make a good break in this frame, and it may well cost him.
Yeah, it's the story of the match. I mean, both players have taken their opportunities, and it's just down to the break, really. And you know, this is what we like to see. We always talk about great players and hope it's going to be a good final. Well, this year it's turned out to be one of the all-time classics. I think Mick's played on the middle bag here. I think he's played to play the one to the left-hand side of the 8 ball onto the centre. just into that middle pocket as we can see now. Hold the cue ball at the bottom end of the table. Now if he makes this pot and gets a nice angle, it's 10-8. But this is no gimme. See if he's feeling nervous at this stage of the match.
Seconds.
Big frame for him.
Well, it's there, the heart of the pocket.
And he's absolutely perfect. Now he'll play this shot. I know he's grimacing, but he can take it down the cushion and leave himself a choice of 2 reds. He knows this is a big shot. He's licking his lips. This is his opportunity to get himself to match point.
Yeah, the whole supporters find their voices.
Yeah, they don't get much better than that. That looked an easy shot, but you know, he needed the right angle, and he's absolutely perfect. Steely face Mick Hill. Put you on a show here in Blackpool. Star billing for Mick Hill.
Yeah, we know what a great player he is, but it's doing it when it really matters, which is what he's doing this evening. And he's edging ever closer to winning his 2nd world title. Gareth Potts is going to have to win the last 3 frames to stop him now. Because Mick Hill is 1 frame away from the title. He leads the final by 10 frames to 8.
Brilliant performance here in Blackpool from Mick Hill. This Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. As we see the break from Gareth Potts, the balls just didn't really go anywhere there.
And that was a key shot of the frame. What a great pot into the middle and leave himself a nice angle. Another good positional shot. Coming past the yellow. Absolutely perfect. And this 8-ball to take him on the hill.
Well, can he finish the job, or will Gareth Potts provide a twist in the tail?
19th frame,
Mick Hill to break. In frame 19, he needs just 1 more
time running
to become world champion for the 2nd time. If ever he needed a good break, it was now.
See all the body language. Where's that yellow going? It's finished in the middle pocket. You see the hand goes up from Mick Hill. No consolation to Gareth Potts though.
Well, it's a big break this is, Sean, because you can see the yellow just going in now into the centre pockets. There's no reason why Mick Hill shouldn't take these out. I mean, this is new territory for Gareth Potts. He's never lost in a world final, and this is Mick Hill's chance to do that to him. You know, there's no shame in if he loses this match. He's played world class and he's made virtually no mistakes, and there's not very often you can say that to somebody who's lost in a world championship final.
You see who just looked down there, he could barely watch as Mick Hill was going back to the table.
Well, let's not forget, Mick's still got to hold himself together first.
Yes, this is where it becomes a test of nerve.
Yeah, his cue ball's come down the table there. He would ideally like to stay at the top of the table and cleared that area. But you feel Mick needs to take this finish out in this visit. Wouldn't want to give Gareth any hope. He's now going to take the one over the bottom right hand corner, bring the cue ball up. He's just showing you where he would like it to be. If he lands anywhere there, it'll be absolutely perfect. Wouldn't want the cue ball to go right the way down to the top cushion, then he would have no angle. So probably about 2 foot off the top bill will be perfect for him. And he's made sure he's hit it hard so he didn't stay on that cushion. It's a little bit harder than he would have liked, but he's still okay.
Yeah, it's certainly been a 5-star performance here from Mick Hill. the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool.
Yeah, and this is a big shot again. You know, it's well missable, but if he gets it, big chance of being world champion. So wiped his feet, but it's gone in.
Yes, he's had his disappointments in finals, including to Gareth Potts 3 years ago. Just 4 balls to go.
And this is all about pressure. He's cued every ball perfect throughout the match. He's just got to hold himself together, and he's world champion. Yeah, you can see there's a little bit of tension, and he knows this is a big shot. Now he's just got to pull one big shot out here.
30 seconds.
A slight movement, but he struck it solidly. And you have to say this final has been of the high standard.
I say I've been commentating on these finals now for a few years, and this is certainly by far the best match that I've sat in the commentary box for. Like I say, I think the last time we had a match like this was the Twist Melling final that went all the way to a decider.
But like you say, Sean, it wasn't in this league. This is fantastic, and it's just a shame there has to be a loser.
Yeah.
Well, 6 years it is since Mick Hill first won this title.
Yes.
A lot of people, I'm sure himself included, thought it was too long before he won a second, but it looks like the wait is over. And Mick Hill is back on top of the world. A brilliant display in a brilliant final. Gareth Potts played his full part, but Mick Hill is the 2010 Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Champion. He's beaten Gareth Potts by 11 frames to 8.
What a fantastic performance, what an amazing final, and Mick Hill enjoying every second of those celebrations, and why not? It's been a fantastic final, what a high standard. Gareth Potts has played his part, of course, but Mick Hill is the champion. Keith, what an extraordinary match that was.
Amazing. Words fail me that we can express how good a match that really was.
The standard of both players was so high, and it was you couldn't really pick between them, could you, earlier on? But suddenly, in the end, Mick just eased away.
Yeah, they were trading punches, basically, weren't they? And it was over really who was just probably going to open up the old 2-frame gap. And unfortunately, Gareth just had one bad break towards the end.
Well, it's time now to join the presentation and greet our new champion.
Can I introduce, please, the Heineken Regional Sales Director, Naheed Yunus, followed by Alan Benton, who's the Tournament Director. Our first presentation, Gareth Potts, 3 times world champion, runner-up this time. Got to be somebody special to beat somebody like Gareth Potts, and he is somebody special. That's Mick Hill.
Well, Gareth, I know you must be awfully disappointed, but you can take some relief in the fact that it was one of the greatest matches that we've seen here.
Yeah. No, I'd like to start by obviously saying congratulations to Mick. Obviously he's a fantastic player, and I think the match like that, the shame has to be a loser, but congratulations.
It was a bit like 2 boxers trading punches all the way, and I think just as we were approaching the finish line, you've just had that one bad break, and I think that was probably the little bit that turned the match, do you feel?
Yeah, obviously, Mick broke and cleared at 8-all, and then, I come up dry at 9-8, and then obviously he's broke and cleared, so from 8-all I've had one break, which, I don't know.
That's all right, Gareth, we fully understand. Gareth Potts, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Mick, world champion. Once again, it's been a long time in coming, this second one.
Well, yeah, when I won in 04, a little bit of a story actually. I won in 04, and we was in the old hotel in the nightclub, and I was sort of thinking, next few years are going to be mine. Like, you know, I've made the breakthrough. And I remember Gareth saying to an old sponsor of mine, he said, "You just watch out for me in the next couple of years. Don't worry about that." And then and it took me 6 to break the stranglehold. So yeah, he was probably right, wasn't he? Well, he weren't probably, was right.
But Mick, obviously, Gareth played his part in a great final there. Do you think that one break he's had where he's come up dry was the turning point as we approach the finishing line?
Well, I mean, before the match starts, you're sort of saying to yourself, the break's likely to determine who wins, who loses. He's got a fantastic break. And I'm sort of hit and miss. 1 minute, you know, I can hit him. The next minute is the puff pastry, you know. I don't know what I'm going to get. But, you know, I mean, to play Gareth in the final was 07 was obviously fantastic. You know, and he did a job on me. And then I played Phil last year, and it was a little bit of a scrappy one. I don't know whether it's the best final we've ever seen, but it's certainly amongst the best finals. And obviously, you know, Gareth doesn't need me to tell him what I think of him as a player. He's one of the greats of all time, and I'm just so proud to beat him in a final.
Well, Mick, well done. I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 world champion, Mick Hill.
So there we go. Mick Hill is our new champion. Second time he's taken his world title, but what a match. We'll always remember it. Hope you've enjoyed this match and indeed the whole series. From all of us here in Blackpool, for now, it's goodbye.